Tennessee Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn went on Fox News. This was last week. But I have to show this to you because I think she may have broken a record for making stuff up and making no sense.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, a member of the Senate Judiciary and the Armed Services Committee. If Perdue and Loeffler lose, are Americans going to be looking at new and or higher individual taxes, higher corporate taxes, a carbon tax, a reinstatement of the Obamacare tax mandate, all of which will achieve what Joe Biden has planned, a $4 trillion tax hike?
You're exactly right. And he said that he would repeal the Trump tax cuts. He would raise the business taxes. He would begin implementing the Green New Deal. And then they're going to put everybody into government-run health care. That means no private sector health care, no health insurance from your employer. And it means that 57 million Americans that are on Medicare, everybody will be going into Medicaid. They're also going to expand the Supreme Court and give statehood to D.C., a city. Give statehood to D.C. and also to Puerto Rico, thereby having a Democrat majority that would be hard to ever get rid of. Now, that is their first 100-day agenda. And don't take my word for it. Take Chuck Schumer's word for it. He said, first, we're going to go take Georgia, not win it, not fight for it, not try to earn the vote, but take it. And then they're going to change America. And I don't think that's the kind of change that people are looking for.
I don't know how it's possible to start talking and somehow make things up multiple times in each sentence, but that's what she just did. Not virtually, everything she said was false. Not a single thing she said there was true. Even, just take the very last thing about Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer said we're going to take Georgia. Not we're going to win it, not we're going to get more votes. He says we're going to take it. Is Marsha Blackburn really dumb enough to think Chuck Schumer casually announced that he wants to steal the election in Georgia? Is that your claim? Chuck Schumer was arguing we are going to steal that election? No, when you say we're going to take Georgia, that's a colloquial way of saying we're going to win it. We're going to take Georgia, yeah. We're going to win it. That's what that means. That means Warnock and Ossoff will beat Perdue and Loeffler. That's what that means. She's acting like he's got the grand nefarious plot where he's twisting his evil mustache in a smoke-filled back room. We will take Georgia, and I'll even tell the people that we're going to take it. I will admit that we are stealing Georgia. Yes. Although we all know Chucky Schumer doesn't talk like that. Oh, God. Mr. President, oh, my God. Can you please stop saying the naughty words on the Twitter? That's my Chuck Schumer impression. Anyway. So now let's go to some of the other points she makes. They started by lying and saying Joe Biden's going to do a $4 trillion tax hike. First of all, no, he's not. No, he's not. He's not going to do a $4 trillion tax hike. But even if he were to raise taxes, his actual tax plan is clear. He only raises it on the wealthy, which is a good thing. Listen, for all of Joe Biden's flaws, and he has many, if you actually go to his tax plan on paper and you read it, it's not a bad tax plan. It's not a bad tax plan. Would I go further? Would I have much higher top marginal rates? Of course I would. But Joe Biden's actual tax plan is not bad. To the extent it raises taxes at all, it's on the wealthy. But they just lie. $4 trillion tax hike. I don't know, something like that. No, not true. Then she says he's for the Green New Deal and he's for government-run healthcare. I wish, Marsha. I wish. He's not for that. He's not even close to for that. I mean, how out of touch or how much of a liar do you have to be to argue that moderate Republican Joe Biden is for the Green New Deal or government-run healthcare? His entire campaign, he was lying about Medicare for all every time he opened his mouth on that debate stage. He couldn't stop slamming Medicare for all. He lives to slam Medicare for all. He said multiple times he's not for the Green New Deal. He's for his own climate plan, which he thinks is ambitious. It's not nearly ambitious enough. But why even lie? Why not actually look at what Joe Biden's in favor of and then disagree with that? Because, of course, Marsha Blackburn is to the right of Joe Biden. Of course she is. You could argue with him on his actual beliefs, but she doesn't do that. But guess what? If she actually did look at his beliefs, there would be more points of agreement. You know, like she would have to say, yeah, he's a moderate Republican and I'm a far right Republican, but I give him credit for his moderate Republican positions. Somebody like Marsha Blackburn would give credit to Joe Biden for supporting the Patriot Act. I'm sure she's in favor of the Patriot Act. For supporting the Iraq War, I'm sure she was in favor of the Iraq War. You know, you go down the list, the crime bill. All these people are, we're so tough on crime. Yeah. That's like Marsha Blackburn. Okay, well, Joe Biden's a Democrat who's tough on crime, which of course is not the right policy because he's tough on nonviolent drug offenders. That's the problem, is he was too harsh on crime that shouldn't even be crime. Okay, but these are all things that if she spoke about it, she'd have to say, yeah, I actually kind of agree with Biden. You know, I've had these conversations with some people in my family where, you know, somebody in my family was like to me, I'm not on the left. It's like, first of all, like I'm looking around like, I didn't say anything about politics. Why would you even say that? Like, people are so funny when they get around me and they know what I do. It's like they can't wait to talk about stuff. And meanwhile, I'm just like, I just want to have a beer and like sit here and do nothing. But people love to immediately jump to politics. And even members of my own family, I'm not on the left. Okay. You know, I'm watching Mythbusters. What's up? Like, where does this come from? But then I tell them like, and Joe Biden is a moderate Republican. So, you know, if you're going to follow up your little I'm not on the left thing by going after Democrats or going after Joe Biden, think again, because he agrees with you, not with me. He agrees with you. So anyway, I don't know how I got there, but yeah, I totally forgot how I got there. But let's continue with our breakdown of what Marsha Blackburn is saying. Then she goes on to say he's going to expand the Supreme Court. They purposefully went out of their way to not give an answer on that. Not because they're going to expand the court, but because they don't want to piss off their base when they tell them, actually, no, we're not going to expand the court. They want to give people more hope, so they're not answering that. They want to make people think that maybe they'll do it because they know that's an important thing, but they're not going to do it. Again, I wish that the Joe Biden these people created in their heads was the real Joe Biden. Statehood to D.C., that's not going to happen. I bet a lot of money that that's not going to happen. And then finally, we'll end on this one. She talks about, this part is just flat out made up. Not even like, oh, maybe she thinks it and she's wrong. No, she made this up. They want to get everybody on Medicaid. It's going to be a total Medicaid expansion. Everybody's going to be on Medicaid. No, not a single person has been saying that. There's Medicare for all is a thing, right? Medicare for all is a thing. Not Medicaid for all. Nobody said that. Do they want to do a Medicaid expansion like under Obamacare? Yeah, but that worked. And that's so popular that when there were Democratic governors in Republican states who expanded Medicaid to have more people in it, they won re-election in a pretty solid margin. Because guess what? At the end of the day, people need their material interests taken care of. It's nice to have health care. So they want to put everybody in Medicaid? No. Do they want to expand it a little bit to cover more people? Yes. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. In fact, it's one of the things that you could argue, even as bad as the shitty corporate Democrats are, that is an area where they're just not so far above and beyond the Republicans that it's not even close. Any Democrat who's for Medicaid expansion, on that alone, they beat Republicans who are not for it. So anyway, I don't like, how is it even possible to be that wrong and be that much of a liar and every single sentence is nonsense? Guys, for the love of God, you have to get the propaganda out of your head. Because, you know, if you've fallen for these charlatans and these frauds, and most of you haven't, I know it's only a very small percentage of my audience that's going to be a Marsha Blackburn supporter or whatever. But for the love of God, if you're a Republican and you're watching this, there's no excusing this. There's no getting around this. This is just like from beginning to end, from top to bottom, every single word, insane, wrong, a lot of it lies. I don't know what to tell you. This is embarrassing. You cannot throw your lot in with somebody like Marsha Blackburn. It makes no sense.